Hi, good morning. My name is Dan. This is my channel, Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome to the channel. Please feel free to have a look around. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. Thank you for returning. For those of you that support me on Patreon, thank you very, very much. I appreciate each and every one of you. The Tammys, the Karens, the Maritas, the Emilys, all of you. If I've forgotten a name, I'm so very sorry, but I do appreciate each and every Janet, each and every one of you that support me over there. I really appreciate it. You guys help me to keep doing this work daily for free or at no cost. So this is the weekly for the week of March 8th through the 14th, right? Sunday to Saturday. Now, the way that we do the forecast around here is this is not only doubling as Sunday's, the 8th reading, but also it's the greater underpinning of the energy for this week, right? So each card may represent for a day or two for each person that watches this. Some of you might hit only one of these cards, some of you might hit all of them, some of you might hit all of them and then some. It really depends. We're all moving at different paces and vibrations and all of that through our worlds. But this is just a message from spirit for the highest good for the greater collective, right? So it is like a weather forecast. We all experience weather, but as we're experiencing weather, you know, our experience of that weather may be vastly different. It could be raining and one of us gets in a car accident while another one's raining. It's raining and somebody's out there dancing in the rain, right? So with this being a spiritual forecast, it's sort of like the energy of what's going on throughout the week, what we want to be looking at, and where we might want to focus our attention and our intention to kind of get the most out of it. Or just to be aware if something's, you know, maybe going to be off center. That way we know it's sort of expected. It makes it a little bit more easy to go into. So that is that. If you'd like to support the channel, please feel free to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Or you can like my business page over on Facebook and hit the notification bell there. I do have a Facebook group, and it's a good group of people there. You can join us there. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Engelgeist333. If you feel so inclined, you can subscribe over at Patreon at $3.33. You get the daily forecast a day early, so you can forecast your forecast, so to speak, kind of plan for the day versus seeing it the morning of the day of. And there's also other patron levels up there that have extra stuff like free charm readings and things like that. Those are events that I do here live. So do hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I do go live for like free card pull nights and things like that. All right, so let's get into the forecast. So each card represents a particular, you know, maybe couple of days of the week. So we're starting with Sunday. So this is the beginning of the week. Ooh, hello, lady. We're working with this new deck too as of March. This is the Queen of Swords. It's called the Tattoo Tarot, and there will be a link in the description box for it. If you choose to use that link to purchase this deck, if you like this deck, if you purchase it through my link, I actually get a small percentage of the sale, so that's another way to support the channel. But let's get into this. Let's unpack this, so to speak. So, leading with the Queen of Swords, she is no joke. Like, to me, this is quick, decisive thinking right out of the gate. Swords is always the element of air and the element of like the mental realm, right? So swords, any kind of time you see a swords card, it's dealing with the idea of thought, the mental space, our head space, that sort of a thing. A queen to me, she's a court card, right? So she's ruling, she's in charge, she's kind of swift to move, she's swift to decide. Some swift decisions are going to need to be made in the early part of this week. And I feel like as I'm looking at this queen, there's a determination with her that is going to be needed. There's almost a little bit of, I want to say, frustration with her. We might need to make some of our decisions from a place of, how do I want to put this? I don't want to say you want to make your decisions from a place of frustration, but we might find ourselves emotionally frustrated as we're trying to make these decisions. And the reason why I say that is she has this sword drawn, like she's getting ready to hammer it down, right? Like just swing it and make that decisive thought. But she's taking in one last sort of breath, one last sort of look, one last sort of assessment before making that clear decision. This, I don't want anybody to be fearful about this card in the sense that I don't think that we will make any wrong decisions, but to me, her face and this pose and the fact that it is the queen gives this finality to this decision. Like, I feel like I don't know what you all are looking at mentally in the beginning of the week, but it seems like there's no turning back. Okay? And I don't want that to scare you, because this no turning back element of this, the fact that the queen has shown up here shows me she is tough and can handle no matter what she chooses. So keep that in mind as you move forward throughout the rest of the week. In like, almost hold on to this energy. There's also this snake tattoo, which I find really interesting here. To me, it's giving me that idea of transmutation. Like there's a big change about to happen, the way that the snake sheds its skin. In this decision making that we do in the early part of this week, say in the first 3 days of Sunday, Monday, and possibly Tuesday, whatever decisions we're making, if they feel big and final, and that it might be, around situations that aren't necessarily working for us, or really, really making those adjustments, I want you to know that this is supposed to take place, that there's no wrong answer, that whatever you do, just be strong like this queen and stick to it. That this transmutation sort of needs to take place. It is a growth period. It is a sort of a shedding of something that is no longer working for us. And this queen knows it. We've known it for a while, and we've kind of maybe been hiding from it, or trying to avoid it, trying to make excuses for it, and it's like, no more. And I want to say this, instead of being angry with the situation or the person or whatever it is we may be cutting away, we need to also look at ourselves and understand that we've kept ourselves there, probably trying too hard for too long. Right? And that's part of the strength of this queen, right? Is that she's able to sort of stay in longer than she needs to. These sort of swirling marks here feel like energy has been expended at great levels to try and make whatever it is we're sort of making this decision around, to try and make it work, and it's just not working. So to me, it feels like right now we're measuring. When I look at her, there's a sort of a measuring of when is the exact right time to like sort of bring the sword down, make the cut, and sort of like cut and move is the feeling that I've been getting, or cut and run, cut and cleanse, move it out of our space and do it with like sort of an authority. And if we have to do that from a place of frustration or anger, that's not necessarily the best emotion to do it from, but some of us might find ourselves doing that. I think that that's okay in this case, in this scenario. Only because she does feel like she's sort of empowered in this, I don't want to say anger, but like she just feels determined. Like there's a determination is a better word. So when we make this cut, we want to make it at the right moment with determination, so that we can sort of change our situation, transmute our situation, like that snake tattoo that's all the way up her arm. All right, so let's go to the midweek card. Oh, hello, Four of Cups. We saw Four of Cups last week. Again, we're still working emotionally. Cups is the area of the emotions. So, with this decision that we make with this queen, with this cutting, with this decisiveness, this, utilizing our discernment or whatever we've got going on here, this determination, it brings us to this place of this Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is about, and I just talked about this the other day, it's about emotional stability, or the gaining of that, right? The working towards that. Cups are always the element of water. Fours to me always represent stability, or the stabilizing of our emotions. Those of you that may not feel emotionally stable right now, or might feel after, say, making this decisive decision and in your mind and sticking to it, you might find yourself feeling emotionally scared, regretful. Was that the right thing? You might be second guessing things. But what I want you guys to do, or what I feel like the message is here, is that we need to sort of keep this mind clear and precise, and then carry that over into these emotions to create the stability that we see in this Four of Cups over the midweek. We're going to have to trust ourselves. Again, we have a watchful eye here, and although it is an emotional eye, it is paying attention to everything, and it is in the center of the stability of our own emotions. So if we make a cut or a change, something bigger than we expected, or something that, we had to sort of cut somebody or some situation off, we might find ourselves second guessing by the midweek. That's what I feel like with this Four of Cups. But I feel like we also have to understand and keep almost like I feel like the energy is going back and forth between these cards. Like we might get wishy-washy or second guess ourselves. We need to go back and remind ourselves of why she's sort of determined to make this decision at this point. And we need to utilize that knowledge and that awareness to help us to sort of balance these emotions. Some of you, I feel like this is like letting go of something big. It's interesting to me because the midweek is the 10th, which is the full moon is coming on the 10th, I believe, and the retrograde ends on the 9th. So I kind of feel like Sunday and Monday, this might be cutting away intellectually or mentally something, and then during that full moon energy also that wells up our emotions too. But this is a good card. This is a stabilization of those emotions. So it's kind of like I almost feel like we get our thoughts together, we make our decisions, we make the cut, and then we have to sort of stabilize the emotions behind that, because we do have attachments to our feelings, those around us, situations that maybe we've been in for too long, and there's, things come up. We start to fear like, oh my God, can I do it without that person? Or can I do it, can I find another job if it's a job that you're getting ready to move from, if you're not happy? Whatever it is, it's like there needs to be this determination in the beginning of the week, and then there needs to be this dedication in the midweek to really sort of balancing that all out emotionally. If you feel sad, own it and be sad. Cry those tears, but know that you're safe and you're balancing yourself out. Okay? Now, for the end of the week. Oh, wow. Get it? Interesting. We have the Queen of Wands. We've not seen her before. So we've got two queens here, and we've got the Queen of Air and we've got the Queen of Fire. So to me, this is really an interesting sort of dichotomy. Air feeds fire, and fire burns, stronger from air, right? So they play off of one another. The Queen of Wands is the element of fire and also the element of spirit. And I feel like she is in charge. She's also what I believe MJ Cullinane over at Pro Tarot, she calls it the Beyonce card. She is in charge. When I look at this Queen of Wands, she's much more at peace. She's definitely sort of over her emotions to a degree, but there's a spiritual growth or an uptick that's happening in this card by the week's end for us. There's an empowerment. I'm not going to say that our emotions are completely gone by this week, by the end of this week. I do feel like this Queen of Wands has some emotions and some feelings about stuff, but I feel like she knows who she is. She feels protected. She feels stable. She feels in charge, in authority. She feels a little bit more authentic to who she is. I also like that we have this Queen of Swords at a side stance, and this Queen of Wands is more at a full frontal stance, like owning a little bit more of who we are, right? Like at a spiritual level, understanding mentally in the beginning of the week what's no longer working, being decisive about making that cut, going through the midweek and sorting through our emotions of that, gaining that stability, and from that we become this strong spiritual sort of queen at the end of the week, where we can own who we are at a spiritual level and not have to make any sort of excuses for it. Understand that we are a power and a force to be reckoned with within ourselves, okay? That we get a choice in this. At all times, we get a choice in this and how we relate to it, how we operate within it. The Queen of Wands is definitely a dynamic energy, a fiery energy. So I think that you guys might feel a little bit by week's end, Friday or Saturday, a little bit emboldened, a little bit creative, a little bit, wow, I can't believe I did that this week. It's sort of the vibe that I'm getting from her. This sort of lovely connection to self at a spiritual level and appreciation of self. I love how she's holding that wand close to her cheek. Like she's loving on herself. So I think that this week is about work, both mental and emotional. And it's going to start today, guys. This is it's starting today and it's Sunday. Look at this as the reading for Sunday, but this is also the underpinning of what's going to sort of flow throughout the cards all this week, where we're leading from and where we're leading to. I know a lot of my viewers are feminine, and so there's definitely a feminine empowerment happening here in this card, especially with the, even the Cups energy in the middle is, to me, Cups is more of a feminine energy, the suit of Cups. So there's definitely an empowerment that's happening here, like a grow up, a step up, evolution. This is the transmutation of being maybe stuck in our thoughts, getting clear, decisive, removing what's not working, working on ourselves emotionally, healing some of those wounds or some of those losses, and then stepping out of those losses and, like, you know, realizing we're actually better off from them or not having them. We're more secure in who we are and our sense of self. Let's see what the universe has your back has to say. Oh, wow, beautiful. The more energy and intention I bring to my faith, the more fearless and free I am. And then we have this butterfly, not butterfly, sorry, this hummingbird, which represents joy to me, right? So let me read that one more time. The more energy and intention I bring to my faith, the more fearless and free I am. Do you see that, guys? So we're talking about energy and intention here in the Queen, making that decision in the early part of the week, then bringing my faith and becoming more fearless by working through our emotions, and then being fearless and freeing ourselves by this Queen of Wands by the end of the week. But we can start this today, right? This Sunday. We can start to, and I also think that this hummingbird to me feels like an idea of seeking joy again. I know that we hear that a lot in the grounding stones, but this is about seeking what brings us joy. If it doesn't bring us joy, cut it away. If it brings us strain and strife and mental struggle, we need to cut it away. And I'm not saying we need to kick it out of our lives, cut it away. We need to stop giving it our energy and intention or attention. That's what I mean by cutting it away. If you've got somebody that's being a yahoo, that's driving you nuts, cut them away. Right? Set your energy, turn it on yourself, your intention on yourself. Reset your intentions and get that reset going with the emotions here. Stabilize it through your emotions and create that feeling. You're going to hit that Queen of Wands and be fearless and free. Okay? All right, so let's see what the grounding stone is for today. It's also the grounding stone that underlies all other grounding stones for the week. So keep it in mind as we move forward. It's on Tiger's Eye, and this is generosity. So Tiger's Eye is the beautifully grounding stone. To me, I'm going to say this. The generosity is about being generous to yourself this week. Being kind to yourself. I'm going to say this. With both of these queens here and this Four of Cups in the center, this is about self-focus this week. This is about taking care of oneself, being generous to yourself, being kind to yourself, grounding in that feeling, and giving yourself everything that you need. The more energy and intention I bring to my faith, put that generosity, be generous with that, with yourself this week. With your energy and your intention. Give it to you, not to anybody else. Empower yourself, right? It's all within you. So be generous of that, and then once you're full of that, then you can give it to others. But don't give it to situations that aren't necessarily deserving of it or working for it or reciprocating it this week. That's really the feeling that I get from this set of cards. All right, I hope that makes sense, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you later this week to see how it all unfolds. And again, please like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends about me, help me get the word out, and have a wonderful, wonderful week. All right, you guys, take care. Bye-bye.